midday, a very good afternoon to you, and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. The news is also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the world. We are live on citynewsroom.com. My name is Hawah, Iddrisu, Mustapha, and this afternoon I'm here with
Kwaku, Aduamah, Ansah.
Coming up, members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum begin their picketing at the Finance Ministry to demand the payment of their matured coupons and bonds, with a call on government to borrow from the Treasury bill market to settle all outstanding bonds.
Government can borrow from the Treasury bill market and pay us. You see, if you borrow from the Treasury bill market, it will raise your debt level a bit. But you are faced with a condition where you have to do that.
Also coming up, Member of Parliament for Northern Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa hints of a possible investigations by a U.S. group into alleged irregularities with registration of the National Cathedral of Ghana and the Bible Museum Foundation of the U.S.
Equivocation at all. I am not shifting my position. I know for a fact that the social security number they used to get their EIN was obtained through identity theft.
Still ahead, as the race for the NDC presidential and parliamentary elections draws near, today we put the spotlight on the Ningo Prampram constituency, where the incumbent MP Samuel Nate George is facing stiff competition from a former constituency executive and businessman Michael Tete Kweti.
I've been able to provide money funds for the party. I've been able to support the Ghana Police Service. I've been able to provide jobs in Ningo Prampram.
You know, when people make that allusion to say the last time it was 7 votes, if 7 votes was just 7 votes, you should have had it.
It's our land. It's a winner.
And later, former president and NDC flag bearer hopeful John Dramani Mahama takes a swipe at President Akufo-Addo following the country's drop in the latest World Press Freedom Ranking.
Last year, we fell 30 places down. This year, we're falling another 10 places down. It means that our media expression is in danger.
All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is also live on all our affiliates across the country. Western region, we are live on Premier FM 100.5 in Takoradi, Beach FM 105.5 also in Takoradi, Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani, Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi, Eastern region, Right FM 90.1 in Somenya, Volta region, we are live on Holy FM 98.5 in Aplao, Northern region, Dasuma FM 99.1 in Yendi, Upper East, Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu, and Upper West, we are live on Bugli Radio 88.6 in Wa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for choosing us. Let's start the bulletin from the Finance Ministry, where the Pensioner Bondholders Forum is asking government to borrow from the Treasury bill market to settle all outstanding coupons and principals of their bonds. Government has failed to pay 19 coupons and 3 principals since February after granting the pensioners exemption from the domestic debt exchange program. Convener for the group, Dr. Edu Anani Enchi, tells Citi News that government must find the money to pay the pensioners whose livelihoods have been adversely affected.
Government can borrow from the Treasury bill market and pay us. You see, if you borrow from the Treasury bill market, it will raise your debt level a bit. That is fine. But you are faced with a condition where you have to do that. For people who need their money for their medication. And the government, the president once said, you cannot bring the dead back to life, but you can bring the economy back. So if you are faced a situation where the bondholders, which mainly we are talking about the pensioners, who needs their money for medication, and you don't give them and they will die, you can't bring them back. So borrow from the Treasury bill market and pay them so that they can live, and then we can bring the economy back. For the principals, I don't even see the problem of government. The principal is due. If you haven't paid, it is still part of your debt. If you borrow from the Treasury bill and pay, your debt level remains the same. You owe 10 billion. You borrow 5 million to pay 5 million. You still owe 10 million. So I can't see government problem even there. Borrow from the treasury bill market and pay the principal because it doesn't change your debt level. The only one that will change your debt level is the coupon because you are going to place more debts and remove the coupons from being in arrears. But we need the money. And we are not even saying, oh, we don't know the
That was the convener for the Pensioner Bond Holders Forum, Dr. Edu Anani Enchi, who are currently at the Finance Ministry picketing to demand the government pays their outstanding coupons, which has been outstanding since February this year. Let's go live to the Finance Ministry and speak to my colleague Charles Owusukumi, who has been monitoring the picketing from morning. Good afternoon to you, Charles. Many thanks for your time. Tell us the current situation at the Finance Ministry where the pensioner bond holders have been since morning. Hello, Charles. Apologies for that. We will try and reconnect the line shortly and speak to my colleague Charles Owusukumi, who is currently at the Finance Ministry. Kwaku will bring us our next story.
Now, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament and the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, says the U.S. authorities have initiated a probe into alleged irregularities with the registration of the National Cathedral of Ghana and the Bible Museum Foundation in the U.S. The legislator has in recent times been serializing portions of what he terms an expose into funding and dealings of the National Cathedral project. Upon returning from a recent trip from the United States, Mr. Ablakwa accused the National Cathedral of using the identity of a dead man to register the church in the U.S. This was, however, vehemently denied by the National Cathedral Secretariat. By responding to the denial by the Secretariat, Mr. Ablakwa says he stands firm by all assertions he has made.
We'll bring you that insert shortly. Let's go live to the Finance Ministry and speak to my colleague Charles Owusukumi, where we understand the Pensioner Bondholders Forum have been picketing since morning. Charles, good afternoon to you. If you can hear me now, what is the current situation at the Finance Ministry where members of the Pensioner Bondholders have been since 10 a.m.?
So, Hawah, the picketing is over. The pensioners have left the premises of the Finance Ministry. So if you remember, in February, for about 2 weeks, they were here and picketed every day. That time, they were asking for exemption from the government's domestic debt exchange program. Parliament had to intervene, and finally, they got that exemption. 3 months later, they are back. This time, they say that there are outstanding payments on their bonds. Coupons and principals have not been paid. About 19 coupons have not been paid, and about 3 principals have not been paid. And they've been trying to get the ministry to come forth with a plan on how to pay them. Now, the ministry asked that a technical committee that was formed during the domestic debt exchange program reconvene and find a pathway to how these bonds are going to be paid. But they say they are the creditors. They have loaned money to government. And so government is supposed to give them a plan as to how they are going to pay them this money. It's not asking the pensioners to come to a meeting and find ways of getting their money. So they are going to be here. That's what they tell us every day from 10 to 11, just as they did the last time. That strategy worked for them because they got the exemption they were looking for. So looks like they're trying to employ the same tactic and try and get all the outstanding coupons and principals paid this time around. We've not received any word from the Finance Ministry yet. We're expecting that they release a statement or maybe convene a meeting or something, but we've not seen anything on that front. And so we expect the pensioners to be back again tomorrow.
How was the numbers today?
Well, first, about 25 of them came with their seats, sat down, sang the national anthem, Not any different from what they did the last time. That sang the national anthem, sang General Assassini, all those patriotic songs, trying to drum home their demand that these bonds, the coupons and the principles, that's what they live on. I mean, they worked all their lives, invested their monies with governments, and they expect that governments pay back these monies, especially because of that exemption that government granted. Per industry practice, according to Dr. Aduamah, who was once the boss of the Securities and Exchange Commission, if you are granted exemption in a debt exchange program like the one that happened with government, the exemption means that government is telling you that it is capable of paying your coupons and principals when they are due without any delays. And so they don't see why government should renege on its promise to pay them these monies, because they live on this, they use it for their medication. Some of them are paying school fees and all of that. And all of that comes from the money that they're getting from these coupons and these principles that they've invested with government.
How soon are they expecting government to pay these outstanding coupons? They have been talking about, they've asked that government use or goes to the treasury bill market to get monies to pay them. But how soon are they expecting or government to pay them, because it's been outstanding for the past 2 months?
Well, immediately. For them, government keeps borrowing on the treasury bill market. So they think that government can do same, go to the market, take money from the treasury bills and pay the principals. Government has paid a few of the coupons. They paid the six March coupons, but we're told that those whose principals and coupons matured on the very same day, those ones are the ones that government paid. But if your principals are maturing into 2026, government did not pay those coupons. But Dr. Aduamah, whom I spoke to, says that government keeps borrowing money on the treasury bill market, and he believes that government can find the money on that market to pay the pensioners whose livelihoods depend on the money.
Very well, most grateful for your time. That was my colleague Charles Owusu-Kumim bringing us up to speed on a picketing by the members of the Pensioner Bond Holders Forum. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's go back to our earlier story where the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament and MP for Northern Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says U.S. authorities have initiated a probe into alleged irregularities with registration of the National Cathedral of Ghana and the Bible Museum Foundation in the U.S.
To qualify to receive an EIN, an employer identification number, you need a social security number. One of the promoters must present their social security number. Indeed, if you read the May 2nd statement of the Cathedral Secretariat signed by Dr. Kwaku, he made this point and added that one of the considerations for engaging those individuals in the United States of America who were not part of those who incorporated the National Cathedral of Ghana in Ghana, I refer to Eric Ochodako and Dr. Vernon Dako, is that they needed them to facilitate, provide the legal documentation for a social security number. It's right in there in the statement that they issued as the first rebuttal. So I have it on authority, and indeed I have engaged IRS officials. There is no equivocation at all. I am not shifting my position. I know for a fact that the social security number they used to get their EIN was obtained through identity theft.
Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa is ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament and MP for North Tom.
Now, the Ghana Institution of Engineering says the collapse of 3 buildings within a week should be a wake-up call for institutions responsible for providing oversight for the construction of such projects. Two of the incidents involved a 3-story building at Medina and Adentan in Accra, respectively, and the third was a 6-story building under construction at the University for Development Studies at Sanerigu in the northern region. Now, reacting to this, the president-elect of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Ludwig Hesse, said his outfit would conduct independent probes into these cases.
We at the Ghana Institute of Engineering, we are working with the Engineering Council of Ghana, and these investigations will be done, and then we'll find out what the issues are. Then we can prefer a recommendation. For now, everybody wants a responsibility in building should ensure that they are doing what is right. We have laws that guide the way we should build. Every building should have, before you build, you should have a structural engineer, geotechnical engineers to advise you correctly. And based on the advice and designs, when you are constructing, you should have engineers around or engineer practitioners around to supervise and make sure that you are using the right materials, you are mixing them well, you are compacting well, you are observing all the rules, safety rules and everything, so that we can cut down on this. So anybody who is involved in any construction at the moment, the questions you should ask yourself is that, do I have the involvement of professionals who know what is right? If you don't, then you have to stop and ask them, get professionals to help you to review what you are doing before you continue. There are laws. You should ask yourself, am I following the right regulations and laws? Do I have building permits? Have my building designs been reviewed? Is somebody supervising the work I'm doing? Make sure that what the law says you should do, you are doing them. For me, everybody, and this is for everybody, when you are doing, you should be asking these questions about ourselves.
Engineer Ludwig Hesse is the president-elect of the Ghana Institution of Engineering.
This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios at Aduamah in Accra. We are also live on all our affiliates across the 16 regions of the country. Stories we've been bringing you this hour. Members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum pickets again today at the Finance Ministry to demand the payment of their matured principals, with a call on government to borrow from the Treasury bill market to settle outstanding bonds. You also heard from the Member of Parliament from Northern, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, hinting of a possible investigations by U.S. authorities into alleged irregularities with registration of the National Cathedral of Ghana and the Bible Museum Foundation of the U.S. Still to come as the race for the NDC flag bearership and parliamentary elections draws near. Today, we put the spotlight on the Ningo Prampram constituency, where the incumbent MP Samuel Nate George is facing stiff competition from a former constituency executive and businessman Michael Tete, and former president and NDC flag bearer hopeful John Mahama takes a swipe at President Akufo-Addo following the country's drop in the latest World Press Freedom Ranking. We have details of these NDC stories plus others coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Aduamah, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? Eh? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
The international football season has just reached fever pitch, and GoTV will be right there for it all. So get settled into your living room stadium, because you are coming with us to the epic finales of the Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, Europa League, FA Cup, and more. All you have to do is get and stay connected to GoTV, where all the big games keep coming.
Points of world-class difference.
GoTV, love it.
No one stops that.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's do some politics now. And NDC flag bearer hopeful John Dramani Mahama says the next NDC government will amend the constitutional provision which bars persons with dual citizenship from holding political positions in Ghana. According to the former president, the injunction placed on the Asin North MP amounts to injustice and an affront to Ghana's democracy. He believes the decision has deprived constituents of the MP representation in parliament. He made these remarks in Tamale, where he addressed hundreds of party faithful as part of his campaign tour of the northern region.
This government has manipulated the judiciary in such a way that they've injuncted the member of parliament for Asin North. So even though he's the elected member, he cannot perform the duties of an MP. That is a gross injustice, and it's an affront to our democracy. But I want to assure the people of Ghana, and I want to assure the people like Jechi Kwesim, that is our member of parliament for Asin North, that when NDC comes into power, we are going to clarify that constitutional provision that compels them to give up their foreign citizenship before they contest elections. A country's human resource is its best resource. And we happen to have about 3 million of our citizens abroad. They've acquired experience. They've acquired different talents. And why would we have a law that says that if you want to come and be an MP in Ghana, you must give up your other citizenship? Meanwhile, we have a dual citizenship law.
The former president also chastised the Akufo-Addo-led government for Ghana's drop in the latest press freedom ranking.
This government has been an abysmal failure. It is the worst government in the history of the Fourth Republic. And I say it not only because they've mismanaged the economy, but because their governance record is also very poor. Just recently, they've released the Press Freedom Index. Last year, we fell 30 places down. This year, we're falling another 10 places down. It means that our media expression is in danger. Journalists' lives are in danger. There are reports of torture and harassment of journalists. This didn't used to happen under NDC. Under NDC, everybody had the freedom to express themselves. Unfortunately, those freedoms are being infringed upon by Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia's government.
That was NDC flag bearer hopeful John Dramani Mahama.
Let's still stay in the camp of the National Democratic Congress because this weekend they will go to the polls to elect a flag bearer and parliamentary candidates for the 2024 elections. Ahead of the elections, the aspirants involved in the contest have been vigorously campaigning to win the votes of the delegates. One constituency in the Greater Accra region where the election is being keenly contested is Ningo Prampram. The constituency, which has over the years become a hotspot for the party, has two contenders contesting the parliamentary candidate bid in the May 13 primaries. Citi News says Akosi Otre has been exploring the chances of both candidates and has come through with this report.
It's that big election for the National Democratic Congress come May 13, 2023. Now, one of the hotspots for this particular election is the Ningo Prampram constituency, where I'm currently stationed. Now, this constituency comprises of Afienya, Dawenya, Prampram, Ningo, Depchako, other areas in this particular constituency. Now, what makes this constituency a hotspot is that two strong individuals are contesting this particular seat. I'm talking about the Member of Parliament for the constituency, Samnati George, and Michael Kwete Tete are contesting this particular seat. In the last election in 2019, we saw these two same individuals contest the seat where Sam George won the seat by 7 votes. Now, this means that this election is really going to be a tough one for the two individuals, because for the contender, you'd have to do much more to win the seat. Today, we are here to gauge the mood of the constituency and also to speak to some of the delegates to find out who their preferred candidate is.
Well, the two candidates are all gentlemen of the land. Personally, I will be going, or I'm rooting for Sam George. Yeah, because the incumbent to go for another term again. Because there are different perspectives to all the delegates. Personally, I am also of the view that we need experience. We need someone who is much educated, someone who knows the job. Sam George has been in Parliament for 2 terms. This is going to be his 3rd term. If you look at the work he's done so far and the effort he's pushing through, not all MPs have the guts to be able to do what he has done so far.
I don't think it is reality in the life of the opponent. This is because for us, or personally, I am seeing him not to be doing things so as he comes stronger, as you put it. Because if you look at even the current structure or how he's doing his campaign, realize that perhaps he's still thinking that the delegates he used or he had during 2019 are the same delegates he's having.
The main contender in this election is Michael Kweti Tete. He, during the last election, lost by just 7 votes. And this time around, he's confident that he's going to win the election hands down. He believes that the Ningo Pram Pram constituency needs a new face.
I'm not scared of anybody. When it comes to the delegates in Ningo Pram Pram, I am telling you right now that he's not going to get
There's something good
and they know what I can do. They know the way I've done. What I can do. I've done a lot of them already. I've been able to provide money for the party. I've been able to support the Ghana Police Service. I've been able to provide jobs in the program.
We'll also hear from the incumbent member of parliament for the Ningo Pram Pram constituency, in the person of Sam George. He has been touting his achievements in the last 6 years and also have been telling us what he's doing in the constituency, for which reason he believes that the delegates would give him another chance.
They've made it clear that they're going with experience over experiment. They've made it clear that they want a pair of hands that's trusted, that's safe. And there will be a question in their minds if there was a credible alternative. But the alternative is empty. So they're certain that I remain the only credible choice. You know, when people make that allusion to say the last time it was 7 votes, if 7 votes was just 7 votes, he should have had it. The fact that he didn't get it shows that he didn't win the election. Whether you lose by 1 or by 1,000, you've lost. The past 4 years, I have not been sleeping. Saturday is a week and a day away, or barely a week away. And so I'm extremely confident that the work we've done and the mindset of the delegates from engaging with them, the delegates are not interested in who's coming to offer them money or who's coming to offer them goodies or make promises. The delegates are minded that anybody who is just coming and making gargantuan promises, we are all reeling under the effect of a man who came bearing promises and making huge promises, who promised 1 district, 1 factory, 1 village, 1 dam, 1 constituency, $1 million, 1 wache, 1 wele, all kinds of promises, and has not been able to deliver on any of them. You know, so we are minded about politicians who come sugar-tongued with promises.
The electoral college has been expanded. We're having a lot of people coming in new entrants who has also, gotten the opportunity to cast their vote on that day. So my only advice to them is that everybody has to keep calm. We are all members of the party. We are one family. Just that we are going into an internal elections. When you read on the platform, some of the things you read on the platform, you say that, wow. Is that
which platform?
Some of our
social media
platforms where people speak about against each other. I don't think it is the best. We all have to come down and make sure that we go through this election peacefully so that when, at the end of the day, whoever emerges as victorious, we all come together, rally behind the person and make sure that we win both the presidential and the parliamentary for the party so that at the end of the day, we will have a victory in 2024.
The two aspirants are hoping to win that election come May 13, 2023. But for the National Democratic Congress in the constituency, they want a violence-free election. Reporting for City News from Ningo Pram here in Accra, my name is Akusia Otre.
From the Ningo Pram constituency, let's now take you to the Upper West region, where City News' Latif Mahama reports that the MP for West Central is battling stiff competition from his main contender, who has vowed to unseat him this time around. He says though the West Central MP, Dr. Hassan Rashid Pelpo, is campaigning on his track record and parliamentary experience, it appears the change mantra of his rival, Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari, is resonating with the youth. There is more in this report.
The West Central parliamentary seat has since 2004 been occupied by Dr. Rashid Hassan Pelpo, the lawmaker who is currently the ranking member of Parliament's Committee on Mines and Energy, served in various capacities during the Mills Mahama administrations. Dr. Pelpo has in the past 2 decades defied his critics to win the West Central parliamentary slot in spite of stiff internal opposition, especially during parliamentary primaries and the general elections. He faced his worst parliamentary elections opposition in 2016 when he moved from his over 6,000 victory margin in the previous elections to win with a little over 500 votes. The West Central lawmaker is seeking his 5th parliamentary bid, but with stiff opposition from no less a person than his 3-time contender, Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari.
We are now willing to go to the extra length, as I said, not only to build schools for them as we have done, not only to extend electricity to the rural areas as we have done, not only to build the clinics as we have done, not only to do the many things we did for the people, create water for them, avenues for water for them, but now to build the people. These people here, we will turn our attention to them, create value for them, let them achieve the best we can in getting involved in NDC and getting involved in building their own lives.
However, to his main opponent, the assertion of Dr. Pelpo isn't enough reason to maintain him in office. Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari says the dwindling fortunes of the NDC in the West Central constituency are attributable to the inefficiencies of Dr. Pelpo.
It is obvious that change is coming. It is obvious that the constituents want change. And so let us not lose this opportunity. Let us make sure that we get the change to build the West Central that we want. People want a West Central that will grow far bigger than it is now. I am winning. Marvelous turnout at our events, response. It's massive. This is not my first time. This is my 3rd time contesting, and I have never seen the sort of response that I'm seeing now. It appears everywhere we go. The response, there's this wind of change that is blowing, and the response that they think that I'm the best person to deliver the constituency and to bring the growth that the constituency needs. And so that makes me happy, fulfilled in pursuing this course to make sure that we win the primaries.
Unlike previous NDC parliamentary primaries in the West Central constituency, the leadership of the party are sharply divided between the incumbent and his main contender.
There's a wind of change across the region, and the people of West Central have equally come to terms with the need for change. And We are not saying the incumbent MP hasn't done anything. No, if we say that, would be very wrong. But we think that the number of years he has served compared to the things he has done for his constituents and the constituency don't match at all. There's a huge mismatch between the two.
Dr. Pelpu, however, says he is unfazed by his competitors. The leadership of the NDC in the region is, however, warning the two leading contenders to conduct their campaigns with utmost civility to avoid divisions among their followers. A representative of the party elders, speaking after receiving a brand new Toyota pickup and a set of chairs from Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari, said they will not hesitate to call any group or individual to order if found to be engaging in unsavory commentary ahead of their primaries.
I'm using this occasion on behalf of elders of the NDC party that has the regional chairman and the constituency chairman to appeal to Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari and his team to go ahead with their campaign with decorum. Because what they are up to do now is an in-house fight. And we do not want situations where it will be murky to the extent that we may find it difficult to come together to do the real campaign for the 2024 elections. So our appeal is that you should respect each other as a team, respect other contestants. Let us be mindful of the sensibilities of all other aspirants, but that does not mean that you should not give the message that you have, a message that will let the delegates vote for whoever you want to lead this party in Hawah Central to do that for us. By asking you to go on with decorum, it does not mean that you should not send that message, which will let the delegates know that you are the ones. That one we can do without insults.
Two other aspirants, Abubakar Mutiu Rahman and Wahid Bampuri, are also seeking to unseat the incumbent Dr. Rashid Hassan Pelpu.
Reporting for Citi News, my name is Latif Mahama.
Still in the camp of the NDC, a flag-bearer hopeful of the party, Dr. Kwabena Dufour, is raising concerns with the voters' register to be used for the upcoming internal primaries. The campaign team of Dr. Dufour indicates that the register is fraught with errors. Speaking to Citi News, a spokesperson for Dr. Kwabena Dufour, Kofi Kukubo, said the election committee of the party has been notified about their concerns.
As we stand now, we don't have the voters register, the full complement of the voters register. The voter register, even as it is now, is not fully completed. What we have discovered is that 56 or 55 more constituencies are even yet to be done. The one that they claim that they have completed is full of errors. So these are the issues we are raising, that you cannot go into an election with a base document that is one, not completed, then two, that is full of errors. That will not ensure free and fair election. So these are the concerns we have raised so far to the General Secretary and Election Committee and to the Electoral Commission of Ghana, because they are the ones coming to conduct the election. And we are letting them aware that whether by their governing laws, they can go into an election with a register that is not complete and that is full of errors. The Election Committee of the NDC, they are fully made aware. We have written letter to them. First one on the 17th of April. Then the second request and protest was on the 2nd May, which they call a meeting hurriedly on the 4th to verbally brief us on the progress.
So you heard there Kofi Kukubo, who is a spokesperson for Flag Bearer 4 of the NDC, Dr. Kwabena Dufo.
Now, a former Northern Regional NDC Deputy Communications Officer Iddrisu Pagaza has been arrested by the Tamale District Police. His arrest comes after he allegedly attacked a radio presenter with Dagbon FM during a live radio program in Tamale last week. Confirming the arrest to Citi News, his lawyer, Saulisu Biarube, indicated that the suspect turned himself into the police on Monday morning. According to him, they will apply for a police inquiry bill as investigations continue. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Hawah Iddrisu Mustapha, here with Kwaku, Aduamah, and Ansah. Still ahead, Ghana Mine Workers Union under the Trades Union Congress to hit the street tomorrow, May 9, to demand the reinstatement of 3 local union leaders whose appointments have been terminated by the Sonnen Asogli Ghana Limited. We have details of that coming up shortly. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Sweet, sweet mothers, how could we ever forget you? This year, on Mother's Day, we plan to do quite the festive opposite. What better way to show out for our beloved matriarchs than an entire evening dedicated to celebrating the phenomenon that is motherhood. Mama's boys and mama's girls, for all their love and sacrifices, here comes the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Picture this: a flavorous Ghanaian spread with countless mouth-watering treats, just like Mama's cooking. A glitzy dance floor serenaded by Mama's favorite tunes, just for Mama to boogie. And a stunningly intricate portrait of Mama, just to remind Mama how truly beautiful she is. Join us on Sunday, the 14th of May 2023 at 4 p.m. for an enchanting evening of appreciation and enjoyment for our feminine support systems. The venue is at the City Gardens, number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, and the rate is a cool 350 Ghana cedis. It's going to be an evening of Ghanaian food, dance, and the celebration of motherhood. So book now and secure a seat for Mama at the A Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner now. For more enquiries, call 020-5973-973. The A Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Dano Milk and Tasty Tom.
For the things you do for me, for the blessings you rain.
Marrying the city's most beloved billionaire, she believed she had hit the jackpot and was on her way to live the soft life she always dreamt of. But that's when it gets darker.
And I'm not sure say your hospital to go or be if you hear the final way I get for your dog.
I still have your underwear in my office drawer.
Watch Adipa as she navigates the glamorous and gloomy world of the rich and powerful in the all-new drama series, The Billionaire's Wife. The Billionaire's Wife, only on Showmax. Sign up at showmax.com.
The news cycle can sometimes be rather daunting. With an abundance of media houses publishing daily, where does one even begin? What the papers are saying is a one-stop shopping experience to knowing and understanding the most important news items that made the headlines. Catch the next episode of What the Papers Are Saying at 9 p.m. each Thursday, only on Citi TV.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's now take you to the Ashanti region where the Ikropon District Court has remanded 35-year-old Emmanuel Ejay into prison custody for allegedly butchering a toddler. The suspect, Emmanuel Ejay, who is a son of the landlord, butchered the toddler after he had an altercation with the child's father, who is a tenant in their house. He also allegedly inflicted machete wounds on the deceased father and sister. The body of the deceased has been conveyed to the morgue, while the deceased father and sister are still receiving treatment at the Komfo Anochi Teaching Hospital. Let's go live to the Ashanti region and speak to our correspondent, Fatih Aminu Ibrahim. Fatih, one more, can you tell us?
Okay. Today hasn't been an easy day. In fact, the past few days have not been easy for the family of Samuel Ato, the toddler who was butchered by the son of his parents' landlord. On Friday, when his father returned from work, the landlord's son, who, according to the family, he has been on the landlord's neck to give out all the property details to him so that he will be in charge of the house. But because that didn't happen, he decided to take his anger on the tenants, thereby inflicting wounds on the father and also butchering the toddler in the process. So today, the victim, the suspect, Emmanuel J, was brought to court. After the act, he presented himself to a pastor within the Aduamah community, who later took him to the police station where the police rearrested him. And today, Monday, he was brought to court. Even though his plea was not taken today, his charges were read to him, 2 accounts of causing harm to 2 individuals who are the father of the toddler and then the sister as well, who is 19-year-old, and also for murdering. He was also charged with murder of the toddler as well, and he's been remanded into prison custody for 2 weeks and is expected to reappear on 22nd May 2022. As I speak to you right now, the mother of the toddler is in a very distressed mood. She's not in fact, she hasn't been herself since Friday that the incident happened, because here's a case where she's lost a 1-year, 4-month-old baby. Her husband, who is the father, is also fighting for his life on a hospital bed at Konfano Teaching Hospital. Her 19-year-old daughter, who is an SHS student, is also on a hospital bed, also fighting for her life. In fact, she's supposed to be in school, as according to the family, she has an exam to write, but here is a case where she's battling for her life at the hospital. So it hasn't been easy at all for the family of Samuel Ato.
Not like she mentioned, they've been charged with 2 counts. One is with murder, and then the other one is offense of causing harm. How is the mood in the community 3 days after the incident?
In fact, the community members are still in a state of shock. They still don't understand why this has happened to this particular family. In fact, when I spoke to some of the family members, they told me that prior to this particular incident, the suspect, the suspect's mother reported him to the police because of some of these, because of some threats that he's been threatening the landlady of the house. In fact, yes, his mother, he's been threatening her for some time now. And so she reported him to the police, and then he got arrested. The police arrested him. And so he was in police custody for 3 days. And the day he was released from the police station, in fact, exactly the next day after he was released from the police station, that was when he committed this act, because he wants to be in charge of the property, but then the family, the landlady is not making it easy for him. So he felt like he had to just release his anger on the tenants, causing all these commotion for the family and then the residents of Aduamah.
Grateful for your time. Fatia Aminu Ibrahim is our correspondent in the Ashanti region, where we understand the Ikropon District Court has remanded into prison custody 35-year-old Emmanuel Eche. Now, that is the accused person who is allegedly, we are told that he butchered a toddler who is currently dead and then inflicted machete wound on the father of the deceased and the sister, who are currently battling for their lives at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital, also in Kumasi. Kwaku has our next story.
Now, the Ghana Psychological Association says recent economic challenges could be a major factor compelling some people to exhibit unacceptable behaviors, including murder. The media space has in recent times been inundated with reports of alleged killings in parts of the country, including Edum, where a police inspector, Ahmed Chumesi, is reported to have killed his alleged lover, Majwa, over 5,000 Ghana cedis. Speaking to Citi News on the recent increase in murder cases, the president of the Ghana Psychological Association, Dr. Collins Bedu Ajaman, called for measures to be instituted to improve the country's mental health support systems amid recent economic challenges.
Definitely, there is a link between the
the difficult economic situation and the likelihood of people exhibiting unacceptable behaviors in every setting that you find it. But that said, I think there is more to it than just blaming on the economic situation. As the economic situation gets worse by the day, we need to also have the support systems, the structures that will help to reduce how people are feeling. The available mental health support structures that will reduce the extent to which people will behave in a particular way. How do we still help people to become resilient amidst the challenging economic situation? These are aspects that we need to actually look at. Yes, the police may be trying to bring crime rate under control, but remember, what are their numbers? They themselves, don't they also are they also not in the same economic situation? So in one way or the other, yes, we may have to look at the economic conditions, but we may also have to look at ways to be able to build the resilience of Ghanaians so that they'll be able to adequately deal with the challenging economic situation.
Dr. Collins Beduajiman further called for the mental health of police officers to be prioritized, while also urging Parliament to take keen interest in the mental health situation here in the country.
The recent spate of killings, do we have a team like this who can co-respond and begin to profile what happened? Who are these people? Look at their footprints, behavioral footprints. What have they done? What did they say? How did they behave toward that person, that individual, and all these individuals before finally this particular crime was committed? And I think it's about time. If you look at modern way of responding in policing, co-responding is very, very critical, and that is something I think the police can also do. Then if you look at it at the national level, I think Parliament may have a role to play. It's about time Parliament invite the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, and put to them what plans do they have as far as supporting Ghana with mental health services is concerned.
Dr. Collins Beduajiman is the president of the Ghana Psychological Association.
The Trades Union Congress TUC has reiterated its decision to embark on a protest tomorrow, May 9, 2023 at Kpong, where Sonin Asagli Ghana Limited operates. The protest is in solidarity with the Ghana Mine Workers Union demand for the immediate reinstatement of 3 of their local union leaders whose appointments have been terminated by the company. According to the union, the leaders were dismissed for joining the Ghana Mine Workers Union, which is under the Trade Union Congress. Here is Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Hawah.
They are now expanding into wind and also solar and the rest. And they are going to be supplying power across West Africa. And this is the way you are treating your workers. What have you done? So, comrades, it's not a matter of long talks. We need to show that we are a union, and we have to do what unions do. And what unions do will be very clear from tomorrow. In fact, it's starting from now. Comrades, as your GS said, a number of things have happened. We organized a press conference. This is the last one. The actions we will take. You don't have to organize press conference for anybody to know. The press, they don't have to ask questions, they will see it. The minister came in, there was no success. Friday, just last Friday, we were locked into a meeting in Togba for 2 hours and plus. The previous one, we met the minister and management reps for nearly 4.5 hours. Nothing is coming out of it. So the green light is given this afternoon. The steering committee of TUC is having their emergency meeting. We wanted you to have this meeting before. So 2 o'clock sharp, we are going to have emergency meeting to look at your resolution and to provide that support and solidarity.
That was the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Hawah. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Mumin Bana, says series of protests and industrial action will also be held if their demands are not heeded to.
Congress Ghana resolves as follows. 1. To use every means, including embarking on protest marches, picketing, demonstrations, strike actions across the industry and the country to demand the reinstatement of the 3 dismissed local union leaders of Sunun Asokle Ghana Limited. 2, to work with the TUC Ghana and all organized labor groups in Ghana and abroad to demand the reinstatement of the 3 dismissed local union leaders and halt the notorious acts of intimidation and victimization by Sunun Asokle Ghana Limited without further delay. Long live the Ghana Mine Workers Union. Long live. Long live the Trades Union Congress Ghana. Long live. Long live International Workers Solidarity. Long live.
General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union of TUC, Aduamah in Ghana.
In more stories, the Ada Traditional Council has sent a strong word of caution to political party activists, especially followers of the 2 major parties, that is the NPP and the NDC, to stay off the Ada Songo salt concession. According to the Ada chiefs, some political activists have been instigating some indigents of Ada against private salt mining firm Electrochem Ghana Limited. At a press conference, the Mankralo of the Ada Traditional Council, Nene Obitre Agude III, says the actions of such persons are derailing the progress of the communities.
The petition purported to be the position of Adani and presented at the demonstration was signed by known political party propagandists and not chiefs who are the traditional leaders. We therefore use this opportunity to warn all political parties, especially NDC and MPP, to stay clear of Ada Songo Lagoon development for us to achieve this massive transformation in peace and harmony. We believe that security services are able to speak to issues of breaches, if any, in maintaining law and order, and whether there has been excesses in their operations. In conclusion, we maintain that as father of the land, our doors are always open to continue the engagement with all well-meaning Adani. Also find attached additional responses to their concerns raised.
Nene Obitre Agude III is the Mankralo of the Ada Traditional Council.
The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, in the Volta region says it will be embarking on an enforcement exercise to ensure churches in the region adhere to the regulations of the agency. In a Citi News interview, Director of EPA in the Volta region, Hope Smith Lomote, said the move was necessitated after some churches in the region failed to comply with the required standards of operating a church under the EPA's regulations. Mr. Lomote also noted that although some churches have acquired permits to operate in authorized areas, they are yet to renew their permit and may also be affected by the agency's enforcement. Mr. Lomote added that churches must apply for the permit before establishing their churches.
So some of them have acquired, some too have not. So we are regularizing those who have not. And the regularization is in different levels. It's not a rubber stamp. When we get your facility and you don't qualify where you are located, maybe it's in an area that church cannot be there. You could read at the zone.
Apologies for the poor quality of that insert, but that was the Volta Regional Director of the EPA, Hope Smith Lomote. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. The news was also live on all our affiliates across the country: Western Region, Premier FM and Beach FM, both in Takoradi; Bono Region, Greener FM in Sunyani; Ashanti Region, Orange FM in Kumasi; Eastern Region, Right FM in Sumenya; Volta Region, Holy FM, Aplao; Northern Region, Dasuma FM, Yendi; Upper East, Word FM in Zwarungu; and Upper West, we were live on Bugli Radio in Wa. You can log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. My name is Hawah Iddrisu Mustapha, and I was here with
Kwaku, Aduamah, Ansah.
Netele Neti Ajaho is up next with the afternoon's edition of Citi Business News. Many thanks for your company and do have a great afternoon.